are watching the Sci Fi Channel.
You're caught in the SF vortex.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Hey, you can say that again, especially because after 20 years, the Force is back with us.
Better late than never, certainly.
In another galaxy far, far away, Babylon 5's Londo is up to his old tricks again.
And you won't be able to see it unless you knew what you were looking for.
Is there a doctor in the house? Captain Janeway has a killer virus, and it's spreading fast.
What about Chakotay? Is he infected too?
No, he's fine. And so is the crew of MST3K. They're in our war room, and this time there's more screaming than laughing. So hold on tight, folks, because it's going to be a fast ride as we take a look at what's happening this week in the world of sci-fi entertainment. Hi again, everybody. I'm Roger Lodge, and you have tuned into the SF Vortex, which means, of course, that for the next half hour, I will be your personal guide as we shuttle around the entire universe of sci-fi entertainment. All, of course, from the safety of my virtual space station. And later on in the War Room, we'll be joined by the inhabitants of another space station, the Satellite of Love. That's right, folks. The gang from Mystery Science Theater 3000 will be here to talk about their show and its new home on the Sci-Fi Channel, so stick around for that. Well, as promised, we are about to be joined by the cast and crew of MST3K. How are they adjusting to their new home here on the Sci-Fi Channel? We'll play Welcome Wagon in the War Room in just a minute. Stay with us. That's right, there's a lot to scream about because the MST3K gang has dropped anchor on the Sci-Fi Channel. We'll have a preview when SF Vortex returns.
Hey, what's here? I'm not done yet.
Mystery Science Theater 3000 has staggered back to life. Mystery Science Theater 3000 premieres Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern.
All right, welcome back to SF Vortex. I'm Roger Lodge, but enough about me. I've been informed that the crew from MST3K has just docked and are waiting downstairs in the War Room. Now, the cult sci-fi parody show has been without a network for a while, but fear not, folks. Brand new episodes will be airing weekly here on the Sci-Fi Channel starting February 1st. So, here's a little taste to get you all riled up.
In the not too distant future, somewhere in time and space, Mike Nelson and his robot pals are caught in an endless chase.
Awesome and cheesy movies, the worst I can find. He'll have to sit and watch them all, and I'll monitor his mind.
Live from Lincoln Center, a tributary to the Upper Amazon with Johnny Carson, Stephen Eady,
Vice President Al Gore,
Buddy Hackett,
Don Rickles,
and Beck.
You are the one in my dreams of blood.
But everyone's in my dreams of blood, so it's not that big a deal.
Oh, why do I push people away? Oh, Grandma, decorations make me so hot. Cover me in doilies and read me Ann Landers. Ooh.
It's a little stuffy in here.
A lot of back pain with that chair.
You ready? Here goes napping.
The Charlton Heston fish locator. My feet hurt. My boogers are sticking together.
Jeez, they're only keeping this guy so they can hollow him out and crawl inside when he dies.
You will take me with you.
Well, I'd like to, honey, but I'm a gay married impotent priest with a terminal illness and occasional herpes, and I'm a hologram on the run from the law. Banzai, I am divine wind.
He's got a nice lazy boy.
Good one, Colonel. Over.
What color is that parachute?
Oh, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Hey, I'm eager to catch the new Mystery Science Theater 3000, huh? And to get us in the mood, we've got the guys from MST3K right here in the War Room, folks. Look who's here. Mary Jo Pehl, MST3K's evil Pearl Forster, and a member of the show's writing team as well. Also, Michael J. Nelson is here, a.k.a. Mike Nelson on the show, and he's the one marooned on the spaceship. Where are the bots?
They're in the trunk. It's very disturbing. You wouldn't want to see them. Yeah.
It's not a pretty sight. Also here, folks, Eric Wallace, freelance screenwriter and all-around good guy and sci-fi critic. Thanks for joining this gang.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Let's get started. Do we need more humor a la MST3K 3000? Mary Jo, what do you think?
Well, I guess if there were more, that would leave us out of a job. So I think not.
You think we have enough for now?
Yeah, I think we're doing just fine with what
Eric
we have
Wallace,
now.
your thoughts?
No, I think Mystery Science Theater does what it does very well, but that's enough. We need more serious science fiction. It doesn't. I don't think it helps the genre to sit around and do what may be interpreted as ridiculing almost. Now, take it, these are bad films, but if you're going to do that, ridicule all films. Ridicule good science fiction films. Find humor everywhere.
We can't afford them, so we'll take them. We'll,
not in the budget.
I want to do cliffhanger. Well, that's not sci-fi. But I'll take anything. It's just that we can't afford them. So
Where do you?
we end up doing these bad.
But where are you going to? I mean, do you go to people who've made these bad films and say, we'd like to take your film and ridicule it, essentially?
No, they come to us.
They
proffer
you?
their films
They
to
want
us.
their films.
They
on
want
your
their
show.
films.
Well,
ridiculed.
frequently
Some
people
do,
do.
yeah.
But there are also distributorships who have these bins and bins
Right.
of bad films, and they're not doing anything else.
So I find it hard to believe that a creative entity, no matter how bad a film is, would come to you and say, I'm the director of this wonderful piece of you-know-what. Can you please make fun of it? I mean, is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about...
no, there's a guy who actually made a film just to have it on our show.
For exposure purposes.
Well, it was, he made a bad movie and said, could you please do it? And I thought
So if
that
I
was,
put together a little something, you guys have it on for me?
well, to do an entire film on spec, I find to be a little,
Let's get to one of my favorite parts of the war, and we're going to read a little viewer mail and see what you think. Okay, one of our faithful viewers, Mr. Bill Beckman, wrote in, MST3K gives us a laugh, not at B sci-fi movies, but at our own humanity. Laughter is the best medicine. Now, I'm sure we all agree with Bill.
Yes.
Right? I think so.
Sure.
But why limit the idea to only B movies? Is this fair to the whole genre, Eric Wallace?
It should be. As I said before, ridicule, if you're going to do it to one thing, do it to everything. Do it to A-list Hollywood, do it to the best shows, the best and the brightest. I think you'll even the playing field that way.
Mary Jo, what do you think?
Well, I think the purpose of Mystery Science Theater is to undo the bad movies because they take themselves so seriously. I mean, when you have a dog dressed as a shrew because somebody stapled a bath mat on him, I mean, it's very hard to make fun of good sci-fi movies because the elements are there. The elements are holding together.
That implies that someone set out to make a bad science fiction film in the first place, from what you're saying. And do they deserve to be ridiculed for that? I don't think that's very fair.
Okay, I got to get out of here for 1 second. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back in the war room for some more hot topics as the vortex rolls on. See you in a minute. All right, welcome back to SF Vortex. We're still in the war room with MST3K's Mike Nelson and Mary Jo Pehl and screenwriter Eric Wallace. All right, gang, is a show, and don't take this personal, it's just a question. I'm throwing it out there for whatever it's worth.
All right.
Is a show like MST3K, would it possibly be detrimental to the sci-fi genre? What do you think?
I hope so. No,
You do?
no, I'm sorry. I'm just trying
What are
to
you
get
gonna
some
say? Yes?
random acrimony here. No, I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of like making fun of a religion or something. It's always going to be there. How are we, us, little piddling, we're lint on the floor. How are we going to destroy
We're
it?
not going to undo it. It's a
I
thriving
think that's
genre.
a good point, but when people see you doing your thing to bad science fiction films, and especially people who aren't familiar with the genre, they're going to bring that over and say, oh, science fiction's a hokey genre. It's not to be taken seriously.
Well, I don't think you're giving them very much credit for thinking independently.
Science fiction genre already has that problem. Science fiction, fantasy, and horror films already don't get enough respect as it is with mainstream media.
It's up to the shows themselves to
I would agree with you,
gain
but
that respect.
as much as you guys do a great job, you just, I think, are doing a bad thing. It's a bad influence. You do it well, though. I'll give you that.
Well, I don't think anything should take itself that seriously where it can't take a little ribbing. And I don't think it's so much about the sci-fi convention. It's about these movies where they're employing weird methods to convey some horror, and it's just not effective.
Well, those weird methods maybe just they don't have enough money to create a Geiger-esque or Giger-esque alien like they did in A-budget Hollywood films. Is that reason to ridicule them? Or it's someone's first acting gig, they just got out of school, or someone's first writing gig, they're trying to feed their family, and they make something that's a clunker, it's a dud. I mean, your own book, you have Kurt Vonnegut talking about this very topic, and he says to you, well, maybe you should cut these people a slack. I wrote some things that weren't so good, and I had to eat, and I was starting off. Boom. I mean, Kurt Vonnegut, man.
But don't the people send the movies to you? You stated that earlier. They send you their movies. They know you're going to make money.
Some people do, but there are distributorships that have already bought up these movies that are sitting there in somebody's basement not doing anything because no one wants to see them anymore. Because
we've also, we've heard from the people that you just described, people that was their first movie, and they actually like it. I mean, we heard from Miles O'Keefe, who's in now that his career is blossoming like it is. It's fun to see his old stuff.
Some people maybe like that. I find it hard to believe that. And correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
We will.
If like a Roger Corman called up and said, I'm so glad you ridiculed my film Blank last night, and so that's something else that the Mystery Science Theater, at least from what I've read, says that Roger Corman is a bad director. He's made a lot of bad films. I completely disagree with this. I totally disagree.
What's a good Roger Corman?
I'll name 5. I won't even name one.
Right.
Mask of the Red Death, Tomb of Legia, Premature Burial, House of Usher, and The Raven.
Go, Eric. You're on a roll, my friend.
And by what criteria are you judging this?
By the criteria of showing the let's take The Raven. Let's take a practical example. It's a horror film.
Okay.
It combines comedy. It's funny.
What?
You get wonderful performances from Boris Karloff, Vincent Price. Are you ridiculing Vincent Price?
You're
ridiculing a dead man?
Let me take a second. Let me butt in, if I may. Please, for all my show.
Please.
75% of our viewers that voted in our War Room poll, they said that MST3K was not detrimental to the genre. However, before you get all excited, hey, take it easy.
I'm sorry.
Before you get all excited,
I'm celebrating.
go ahead.
I'm
Before you
spiking
guys
the
start doing the wave, 25% of our viewers actually agreed with Eric Wallace. They think you're doing a disservice. Okay, and we're equal. We're in an equal service war room. Go ahead if you want to make a comment. Go ahead.
I fail to see how our show can undo such a broad, substantial genre.
I don't think your show is personally, single-handedly undoing 75 years of science fiction cinema. However, let's look at it, I know you're sorry, look at it as the foundation for people, like I said, who are more casual viewers of the show. A hardcore science fiction fan isn't going to be thrown off by your show. In fact, he's going to love it because what you do it very well. However, the people who are in the middle, the people who already don't have respect for the genre, as I said earlier, those are the people who are going to get the worst out of it and are going to spread that.
All right, one of our viewers, Michael Lehman, he's a faithful viewer, so let's read his letter.
Okay.
He says if it were good movies, it might be detrimental. But because these movies are, shall we say, not that good, they deserve a little ribbing.
No, I don't buy that because a lot of times, not very often, but you guys have ridiculed, I think, good movies. And let's cite some examples. Rocket Ship XM. Stinkburger.
But the fact that there's...
No, that was one of the first science fiction films to bring science fact into the forefront of main science fiction.
I agree, but that doesn't necessarily make for good cinema.
Does that mean it should be ridiculed, though? It's not,
I think
we're talking about opinions here. We're talking about that. You guys did Revenge of the Creature, as I recall. Fine, that I can understand. But now let's take something like the Kaiju films, the Godzilla films. You guys have constantly ridiculed Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, the Gamera movies, Godzilla versus Megalon.
Yeah, and those are classics, by the way.
No, I'm not saying that they're classics, but it's a style of filmmaking that's very traditional and very sacred for another culture in Japan, and it's part of their traditions.
How many
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
No, it's not.
Okay,
No,
how many?
it is
How
not.
many? How many think Eric should lighten up? Raise your hand.
I mean, right here.
Raise your hand.
He's going to hit
All of
me. I'm
America.
sitting right
too
next
close
to
to
him.
There's a way.
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
let me move on. Name me one movie that should never, ever appear on your show.
Me first?
Go ahead, Mary Jo. What the heck?
The Sound of Music.
Okay, there you go. Michael?
The Trial of the Incredible Hulk. It was top
That was
filmmaking.
terrific stuff.
It was,
Terrific.
Wasn't Thor in that?
Thor was in that.
I liked it
Very
with the
good.
wings.
Now, see, I suppose you're going to tell me you like that.
I
movie.
loved it.
All right, real quick before we get out of here, name me one that just absolutely deserves to be on your show and should just be ripped,
What's your
torn,
favorite movie?
destroyed. Eric, I think you're a good choice for this one. What do you think?
Well, let's go with something contemporary. Let's go with Independence Day.
What? What are you saying, 300 million?
No, it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with stereotyped characters that aren't going to hold up in 20 years.
All right, there you have it. That's it for the War Room. I want to thank my guest, Eric Wallace, the shy Eric Wallace, Mike Nelson, Mary Jo Peel. Be sure to check out the new Mystery Science Theater 3000, folks, right here. Where else but on the Sci-Fi Channel? Now, don't go anywhere, because we are right back with more SF Vortex in a moment. Good War Room, huh? As always, folks, we want to hear what you have to think, both good and bad. Next week, we'll be in the War Room talking about the re-released Star Wars films, so be sure to send us your thoughts. Should Lucas have tinkered with them or not? Email us. Let us know what you think. I'm Roger Lodge. We're SF Vortex. We're out.
Each year, hundreds of people bear witness to the unexplainable. It's up to the Sightings investigative team to decipher the truth. Watch an all-new episode of Sci Fi Channel's Sightings, coming up next exclusively on the Sci Fi Channel.